The lapse in concentration from Reguilon is maddening because it was a really decent first half performance and we don't deserve to be behind. That was at half time. It was so frustrating because we'd worked so hard to get back in the game. At that point, when we did get the equaliser, well, if you think it was lucky or not, we deserved to be level. And I think that's another reason as well when I'm talking about psychologically, because to work so hard to get back in the game and get what you deserve and then give up so soon after you just got it must be sort of very damaging psychologically for players on the pitch, especially the big ones, because you know how like when you're putting in that extra effort, it's so demoralizing when you get what you've deserved and then you give up straight away. It must be really demoralizing for the players.
Absolutely. And you've seen with this Spurs team before how fragile they are mentally. So when things like that happen, to be fair, you've got to give them credit for coming back twice, albeit, like I said, there were lucky goals and stuff like that. But I think the mentality of this team is slowly getting better. I genuinely believe that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as much as the thing is, when we talked about like Southampton and Wolves performances, like you look at those, okay, oh, we're taking a massive step backwards here. I think that when I think about performance yesterday, I don't think I think obviously the result was a massive step backwards. I don't think the performance was, though. I think the performance as a team was more what we want to see from the Conte team, for being very strong, being physically dominant over the opponent. I just think when we just came up against an inspired Ronaldo, I think that was the difference.
That was literally the difference. And when Ronaldo's on that kind of form, when he wants to do stuff like that, there's very few teams, very few players that can stop him in his wake. There really is, because best player of all time, if not one of.
Yeah, and he's still doing the business, isn't he? Jack Pibrook says it was interesting first half overall. Tottenham looked pretty good on the ball, creating chances, but after switching off like that and being punished, they've left themselves with a lot to do, but not much reason for Conte to change things at this point. And I think I was right. I didn't expect changes very early on in the second half, and Conte didn't make changes until late, and he brought off Kulusevski for Lucas, which I think was a mistake. I think Kulusevski was playing better than Son. I would have taken off Son. And Lucas actually really frustrated me when he came on as well.
With Kulu, though, I thought he had a really good game yesterday, but I did feel like he was tiring in that second half.
He was tiring. I
think that's why Conte went for Kulu instead of Son.
That's the only thing I can criticise Conte for yesterday, really. I don't, like, in terms of how the team played and everything, I don't criticise him for that. I think we played fairly well, and I think he had the team playing as good as they could in that scenario. And look, Conte didn't change things, and we did get the equaliser, deservedly so. But again, we just ceded control as soon as we scored.
You look at the Brentford game yesterday with that amazing assist that Christian Eriksen did.
Just what we need, one ball like that.
That's exactly what we needed on the pitch yesterday.
How many times you saw Doherty and Reguilon and like Winks when he came on, and other players just swinging across with zero quality on it, just like going. Even Kane yesterday was swinging crosses out of play. Like, we just needed one cross, that cross Eriksen did yesterday. We just needed one of those to go away, and we have players who can do the damage. We couldn't do one.
I haven't seen the whole games, but I've seen 2 highlights now of 2 Eriksen starts for Brentford, and I'm already sold.
Get him in, man.
I'm already sold.
Even if he's a sub in these kind of situations where we're looking to break a team down, he would be so invaluable. I wish we had that kind of quality in the squad. I think we took it for granted, man.
Of course we took it for granted massively. Look how much we've detrimented our creativity since he's left.
Massively.
It's crazy.
No one can do anything like Eriksen used to be able to do for us. Only Kane, and he can't do it himself.
Yeah.
XG philosophy, the XG essay, United 0.99, Tottenham 1.7. Tottenham winning the XG battle, losing the game. And I think the XG battle shows that we were well in that game, and it was. I think that tells a story. I think United
what was
scoring.
The XG?
0.99 for United and 1.7 for Tottenham.
0.99 for United, and they scored 3 goals.
Yeah, and 3, and that, I think all 3, except for maybe the second one, which big chance. But I think even the header, as much as people say, we could have done better, it was a fantastic header, man. It's a really difficult header to pull off, and he's just unbelievable.
That's classic Ronaldo hang time, isn't it? That's just classic Ronaldo. How many times have we seen him do that over the years?
So many.
And not only just seen him do that over the years, but in the money-making moments of games, in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. I remember Sir Alex Ferguson was, I think this was his last season, Madrid played United in the Champions League knockout, and it was at the Bernabeu, and Ronaldo scored one of those headers, and he said, when I was on the touchline, I think he said Evra was marking him or something. He said, I was screaming at Evra on the touchline as I was going crazy at him. I was like, how the hell could you let Ronaldo do that? I was going to bollock him at half time. And he said, just before I went into the dressing room, I just took another look at the replay, and I was like, I was like, there's no way Evra could have jumped that high. It was going to be impossible. There's nothing he could have done there. It's not his fault at all. And he said he didn't say anything in the end.
Look, as much as we could say our players have got to be doing better in these situations, in those situations, when you come under the wrath of Cristiano Ronaldo in that form, in that mood yesterday, there's very little you can do, unfortunately.
Exactly. The fact of the matter is, if you're relying 9 times out of 10, Ronaldo doesn't score that first goal. If United are relying on Ronaldo to bang in a goal from 30 yards as a game plan, more often than not they're going to come short. But yesterday it worked out because he can pull it off. We know he can, but 9 times out of 10 that flies over the bar, and maybe we take the lead. You know what I mean? It's different.
And what was our XG yesterday?
1.7.
1.7.
So just very frustrating.
Yeah.
There was the shithousery from Romero yesterday, but it came back to bite him a bit, didn't it? Going in on Maguire.
Dan says an XG on a penalty is high though, and if you take that penalty out, the XG wouldn't be 1.7.
It would still be over 1. I think the XG on a penalty is 0.6 something.
Not when Harry Kane's taking it.
No, definitely not. Thiago wants Conte backed. He says, "What the f is this defending?" And he's zooming in on Dyer, I think, trying to block the shot. To be fair, as much as I want to say what a great goal this is, look how many players there are around him, and one of them has to get closer. That's true. I can't deny that. One of them has to get closer than this. Come on.
Yeah, and Dyer's the one that needs to get closer.
Dyer's there. Romero can get closer to him. I think actually, if you look at the move, how it progressed, Bentancur had him. And then Bentancur thinks he can nick the ball off Fred when it's played into him. But maybe he was a bit naive. He just maybe should have stayed on Ronaldo, because as soon as Fred flicks it over, Ronaldo's got space. But yeah, I think Dyer is way too scared of him dribbling past him or something. He's got to get way closer than that. Yeah, for sure. I think this defending is poor. He's just got his hand behind his back. If you're going to do that, get right up close to him. Don't leave him with space. Yeah. And I do agree with that. I think it's poor defending, but
you can't take away from that effort from Ronaldo.
Yeah, I think you got to say it's a world-class strike. You have to say that. That's just there's only so much you can do from that with that kind of goal.
Let's be honest though, I felt like every time United came forward, I felt like our defense was shitting it every time. That's what I really felt there in the stadium.
I think on the counter, yes. I think when they had periods of possession, I think we were okay. When they from open play, when we were solidly in our structure in line, I think we were fine. But once they were when they got the chance to counter with Sancho, and mostly Sancho, to be honest, they were looking threatening, 100%. Yeah. And Sancho had a very good game, I have to give it to him.
Yeah, he did.
Matt Hayes says, man, this is so frustrating. Bentancur is way too slow in possession. The final ball was lacking all round. We're well in this, though. The game is there for the taking. That must have been during the game. This one says, people questioning our mentality, but we came back from behind twice and deserved to win the game. I honestly put this down to a lot of bad luck and just one of those effing days where you don't get what you deserve. It wasn't a lads, it's Tottenham day like many before.
Yes. I mean, yes and no, because I think that, yeah, we were good in some situations, but we were bad in other situations. Like I said, I felt like in the first quarter, our defence wasn't good enough yesterday. And in the last quarter, our attack wasn't decisive enough yesterday. But in the middle of that, in between that, I thought we did all right.
I think if we put in that performance, if you play that game out, again, more often than not, we probably win. But I still think it's not like one of those games where 9 times out of 10 we win. It's probably like 6 out of 10 we win.
I said after the game, my gut feeling after the game, a draw would have been a fair result yesterday. I think a win would have been a bit of a snatch yesterday.
I don't think it would have been a snatch, but I don't think we deserve to win. I think we were the better team, but just because you're the better team doesn't mean you deserve to win. You have to deserve to win. You have to be the much better team for me. If you're just slightly better, then it's like you're probably a draw is a fairer result.
Yeah.
Seb Jenkins says, Man United were there for the taking and Spurs dictated periods between Ronaldo's goals. Unfortunately, world-class quality and defensive mistakes from nothing don't go well together. Plenty to like from the game, which makes it all the more frustrating. Spurs should have won.
We don't like dictating the game. We like sitting back and springing on teams.
Correct.
And Man United did a job on us in terms of letting us dictate the game.
But I think we looked a bit better than we did like against Burnley. Like we looked, we were getting in better positions and with a bit more quality. But when push came to shove, we just weren't able to find that piece of quality inside the penalty area.
But
that
also
was
Burnley and the way Burnley set up and the way that Man United set up was completely different. I think Burnley literally sat in their shape for the whole game. At least Man United,
they had like no attacking intent at all. Yeah,
Man United did. It was different in my opinion. Those 2 games.
Fair enough. Charlie Eccleshare says, teams going for fourth are by their nature inconsistent, but Spurs are taking it to the extremes. They'll likely get more opportunities because the teams around them will drop more points. In brackets, I suspect Arsenal will drop 5 points in their next 3 games, but they need to start taking them. And that's what I've always said. The opportunity is always going to be there. It's whether we're good enough to take them. At the moment, we're not. And we're too inconsistent to take advantage of other teams dropping points, and that's just reality. Look, what I would say is, on the flip side, I think past 5, ever since losing to Wolves, we've I think performances have definitely got better, and I think that's including yesterday. So that's a positive. And you know, Leeds and Everton, we scored lots of goals. Even yesterday, we did get 2 goals in the end. So we're still scoring goals. We just got to make sure we go on a crazy run from now to the end of the season if we're going to do anything. We need to pretty much win every game. Maybe
we've scored 11 goals in the last 3 league games.
Yeah, so I think performances are definitely improving. So that's a positive. I'm just hoping that defeat, we don't lose belief from after having a good performance and losing like that. I just hope we don't lose belief.
I don't think Conte will let them lose belief. I think Conte will keep them fighting until the very end. But at the end of the day, we got Brighton this week on Wednesday night on the back of, 5 straight defeats.
So we have to win that. Yeah, no excuses.
But not only are we playing Brighton on the back of 5 straight defeats, we don't have a week to prepare for this game, and we know how those usually go.
Yeah. So there's no excuses. We have to get the win on midweek. Most goals scored in all competitions this season: Harry Kane 21, Son 12, own goal 9. Well, nine for own goal is pretty good. Should probably sign him on permanently.
Sign him up.
I can't believe we've got so many own goals.
That's mad.
To be honest, recently, probably one against Everton. Yesterday, there was one at Southampton. Wasn't that opening goal against Southampton? That was an own goal. So there have been quite a few, haven't there? Just off the top of my head. I
haven't even realised it. But yeah, even just the last few weeks alone, there's been like 3 or 4.
Yeah, there's quite a lot. So, but that's also a telling stat, isn't it? Because how many times we said we relied too heavily on Kane and Son to score, and the fact that own goals are who's actually our 3rd top goal scorer? I can't even think. Is it Lucas?
Probably
Lucas with 4? Maybe.
Lucas.
I can't think who else it could be. It must be Lucas. No one else has scored. Yeah, it must be Lucas.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's Lucas with 6.
That's in all competitions, must be, not in the league.
Well, it says Harry Kane 19. So I don't know
so that's all competitions.
It said they're 21, didn't it?
All comps, yeah.
Son's on 12, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lucas on 6, and Højbjerg in 3, and Bergwijn on 3.
And that's we need more players contributing. The only positive thing is, I think Lucas and Bergwijn didn't contribute too much creatively to the front 3, and Kulusevski is definitely doing that.
Kulusevski has added a new dimension to our front line.
Another good, strong performance from him yesterday. The Tactical Time says, what's the consensus from Spurs fans on Pierre-Emile Højbjerg? He's a standout for me practically every time I see him play. I think he's brilliant. Really, I thought he looked great tonight, but I don't see him every week. Obviously, Højbjerg again Is one of those players who splits opinion. I thought yesterday he was exceptional. I really did. I thought he won the ball back so many times. I thought his passing as well, apart from a couple of opportunities where he lost his composure, was really good as well. His long range passing I thought was excellent, and I think he had a really strong showing. I think Bentancur next to him was definitely off it, and I think he didn't have too much creativity from the wide areas, which probably let him down. But I think he was strong showing.
I think when you look at his game against Southampton a couple of weeks ago, in an absolute dreadful display from Højbjerg, it really was. After that game, obviously he gets dropped against Wolves, and ever since he's come back in the side, I think he's been absolutely brilliant. I really do think so. I think when we went to Man City, he was absolutely brilliant. What was the game after that? I think against Leeds and against Everton. I thought both of those games he was absolutely brilliant. And yesterday again, I thought he was absolutely brilliant.
I think he might have been our best player, to be fair, Højbjerg yesterday.
Yeah, it was between him and Kulu, in my opinion.
Noz Ahmed said, in recent weeks, I feel that the team have been performing better in Conte's system, especially after the Southampton and Wolves nightmare, which is a big positive. Just have to upgrade on quality in some vital positions in the summer and add a creative midfielder who could chip in with goals.
And add to the bloody depth of this team, because when you're looking at the bench to bring people on to change things, it's just so uninspiring. Every game.
Lucas was very bad when he came on, I thought, unfortunately.
Lucas was bad. Do you reckon Lucas is maybe suffering with a bit of confidence as well since Kulu's come in? Because suddenly his place is gone, because he was a definite starter before Kulu came.
Yeah, but I think he's lost it on merit.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying in terms of the way his mind's working at the moment.
Maybe, but, you know, he has to... Look, he's never... To be honest, I think Lucas is the squad player. I don't think he's ever going to be a consistent starter for us. I think he's too inconsistent, and I think he doesn't have the decision making. I think Kulu's already got better decision making than him, and he's 9 years younger than him.
100%.
He's already got better decision making than him.
And better application.
Probably gets he got another assist, technically another assist yesterday. I think Lucas might be suffering from a bit of confidence, but he's got to play his way back in the team if he wants to be a starter. And I think he's being outshone at the moment by Kulusevski.
Absolutely.
That's the fact. Premier League panel, like their account, he says, key part of the recruitment is having specific profiles to recruit. Conte's identity, I think he means, makes Spurs' issues easier to fix. Kulusevski has given him a final third creator to supply the other two goal-scoring forwards, like Barella was. What he needs now, he needs that wing-back, centre-back, and in midfield is also clear. Definitely, we need two wing-backs probably. Need another centre-back and a creative midfielder. This is what he said. This is what they suggest. He's saying centre-back, two centre-backs in Bremer and Pau Torres, left wing-back in Mæhle, right wing-back in Lamptey or Baku, a deep-lying playmaker like Neves, and a centre-back like Kessie Anguissa or Calvin Phillips.
So not asking for much then?
Not much, yeah. That would be a very good window, I tell you.
How much would all that cost?
Kessie would be free though, wouldn't he, if we got him? But
Kessie ain't coming.
Neves, I told you, Neves is the really one I really wanted. I really think he's.
If Neves comes in, for argument's sake, I know it's a very unlikely scenario, but let's say if Neves does come in right in the summer, who's our starting two? Is it Bentancur and Neves, or is it Neves and Højbjerg?
I'd probably have Neves and Højbjerg, yeah. I think that's probably our best two, maybe. Or we could even put a three with Bentancur, Højbjerg, and Neves potentially as well. I just think we need someone like Neves in the centre. We don't have that profile for centre mid who's willing to take that passing responsibility on himself, wanting to take the ball in the central position. I'd love Eriksen as well, but Eriksen will have to play one of the forward positions. I feel.
Eriksen in Conte's team in Inter Milan
with a
played
three,
a bit deeper.
In a three,
yeah,
he can't play in a two.
No,
though.
Yeah, in a three.
Yeah. I'd love Eriksen. Yeah, get him. I'd love him. Bring him in. He'd also be one I would definitely consider. Premier panel again says Spurs shouldn't treat Conte as a short-term manager either. They should back his identity to the hilt in the transfer market, because even if he leaves after a few seasons, Inzaghi is now showing at Inter that it's possible to build on Conte's foundations if the quality is high.
Absolutely spot on. Absolutely spot on. We have to follow Conte's vision 100%. Because he leaves, when you look at Jose Mourinho, he leaves clubs in a worse spot for the most part. Conte leaves clubs in a better spot, and he leaves them ready to win in the future, even post him being there. And I think that's absolutely spot on.
And even look at Tuchel at the moment. I'm not saying Tuchel's copying Conte, but the system, like Tuchel before going to Chelsea wasn't used to playing. He usually played 4 at the back before he moved to Chelsea. I know he at PSG did 3 at the back a few times, but most of the time he played 4 at the back. That was his formation. And I think maybe he looked at the profile players and thought 3 at the back, using how Conte used to play, was the best way to go, especially when you got players like Alonso and stuff at left wing back. I think you're seeing a lot of how Conte plays in the way Tuchel uses Chelsea's 3 at the back.
Yeah,
for sure.
I completely agree with that as well.
Tottenham's Hugo Lloris says we need to improve, but but when you look at the game, you can see the direction we want to take as a team. Look, I don't mind this quote, but it goes off the back of Harry Kane saying, "Look, we need to stop saying we need to learn and we need to improve. We need to take responsibility." And unfortunately, yesterday, I think the players have to take responsibility yesterday for what happened, as much as.
But when you've got a squad that we've got now, and it's clearly not good enough for what we want to do and where we want to be, how can the players take responsibility if they're just not good enough?
They have to be responsible for not being good enough.
Yeah, well, I think more people at this club need to take responsibility, and that's the people higher up for letting us get to this situation.
I just get frustrated when people getting on Conte's back, saying Conte is not. I'm not saying he is blameless. I'm just saying, like, if you can't see how we're playing on the pitch isn't down to Conte. Like, everyone's trying their hardest. The structure is really good. We're getting into how many times we're getting such good positions because the system is the structure in place. The patterns of play are getting us into these really dangerous areas and really good positions. And then it's that quality that when it comes to the individual quality, that's what's clearly letting us down for me, very clearly.
Yeah, that's not the player's fault. That's the upstairs' fault for not giving the manager what he needs.
I mean, it is upstairs' fault in the bigger picture, but right now it is the player's fault.
Well, if you're playing to the maximum of your ability, I mean, what more can they do?
Yeah, but that's whose fault is it if the player isn't good enough? That's his own responsibility.
Yeah, but there's only so much you can do, and yeah, how can they take responsibility if they can't do any better? How can they? Like, what does that even mean? Like, how can they take responsibility if they can't do any better, literally?
It's just going to cost them their place in the team or cost them their place at the club. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just think I'm not saying they should be doing more. I'm just saying they're not good enough. And it's down to the individual aspects of a lot of these players why we're in the position that we are at the moment.
Yeah.
And that obviously falls down to the lack of investment and the lack of planning and preparation from the higher ups into where we are now in the state of the squad. But I think the manager's doing the best he can. I think the players are doing the best they can, but it's not enough.
Agreed.
11 players have scored 50-plus Premier League goals home and away at one club, and Harry Kane has joined the list, apparently. No, sorry, Harry Kane's just joined. Oh, no, Salah's just joined the list. Harry Kane's on the list. Sorry, I thought it was a tweet about Kane. It's not. It's a tweet about Salah. This one has XG at United 0.99, Spurs are 1.82. But it says Ronaldo's hat-trick sends Ralph Rangnick's men back into the top 4. The Portuguese forward was responsible for 92% of United's XG this evening. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I think unbelievable performance. Tottenham have lost 5 of their last 8 Premier League games, as many as they had in their previous 20 in the competition. 1-12, drawn 3. Setback. Yeah, I mean, we have lost 5 of 8. There's no running away from that. That is the brutal reality of where we are. But I'm just hoping that improves in the last 11 games of the season.
Yeah, well, the only thing you can do is hope. Sometimes you got to take a few steps backwards to go forwards, and I think this is a case of that now. And
how can they say we've lost 5 or the 20 before? Because we lost 5 in the first 10 under Nuno, didn't we?
Well, we won our first 3, then we lost our next 3.
I think no, because Nuno got sacked after 10 games.
Something around that, I can't remember.
Because I think he lost 5 and won 5. That was his record.
Yeah, those stats don't seem. I'm not too sure.
But then they're including the 9-game unbeaten run under Conte, I guess including Nuno,
right.
including that and Nuno's.
Yeah. That makes sense then.
Then it's
yes. First 20 games of the season, we lost 5 games.
Yeah, and now we've lost 5 of the last
5 in our last 10.
So hopefully we got another unbeaten run. That's all we can hope for. But yeah, it's damning that, to be fair.
It is, but sometimes you got to take a step backwards to go forward, and I think that's the case with Conte because he's come in, he's implemented a completely new system, he's imprinting his ideas on the team, and it's not all we're going to be rosy all the time, is it?
I hope. Look, I do believe we keep playing like we did yesterday. We should.
We'll win more than we lose.
Yeah, we should be in a. We should put ourselves in a position when we can win most of the games we've got left. I really believe that. When Spurs got the equaliser, Conte was pictured immediately streaming for focus. Less than 10 minutes later, Cristiano, 750 career goals, the greatest goal scorer in the history, on a hat-trick. Ronaldo is given a free run on the penalty spot between defenders at a corner.
Yeah, and I think players got to be doing better there to stop him. But at some point, sometimes you just can't stop him because that's his bread and butter, isn't it, Ronaldo?
Yeah. And he shouldn't allow him to get a run on him, that's for sure. But it's such a good header, man.
Of course not.
No player scored more away goals in the Premier League in history than Harry Kane. That's pretty crazy.
Which one?
He's a top goal scoring player for away goals now in the history.
Wow, that's nuts.
94 goals away.
Yeah, Alan Shearer's got a lot of home goals.
Yeah, so 200, only 90. Less than 94 of his home goals were away. That's crazy, actually. So yeah, Kane, and he'll smash that as well. Premier League panel again says Reguilon air kicking the ball when it was a simple assist for Kane, and an acrimonious defensive line for Ronaldo's second goal was symbolic of current Spurs. Conte's processes are being implemented and they sustained pressure well, but the individual quality is too low in some areas. That's a perfect summation for me. I think that second bit, Conte's processes are being implemented and the sustained pressure, and they've sustained pressure well, which I think was absolutely right. I think United struggled to build up any sort of passing moves and possession, and that was absolutely right. The individual quality was laying us down, and that's absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I can't agree with that anymore. And I think there's no more evidence to show why we should back Conte than how we're playing at the moment and why he needs backing.
Absolutely.
And we could say the same about Pochettino as well.
Yeah,
a lot
and probably Jose as well.
And probably Jose as well for a lot of the time. Tottenham's last 15 results: win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. Very
the definition of inconsistent.
Doesn't get any it's crazy. It's just crazy.
We're actually so consistently inconsistent.
Yeah, it's like you might as well lump a lot of money on Tottenham to beat Brighton, and then a lot of money on Tottenham to lose to West Ham. It's just that we haven't won consecutive games in 15. That's crazy. 15 games out of consecutive win. And last but not least, someone's done some stats bomb and looked up the opposition goalkeeping luck meter and it calculates how often a goalkeeper it calculates how often a goalkeeper will overperform, because you have those stats like goalkeeper XG when they're expected to save something. And it says here that goalkeepers overperform against Tottenham the most, or second most. Only Norwich is more than Tottenham. You could say it's our bad finishing, but you could say Tottenham just come up against a lot of inspired goalkeepers, apparently.
But we've said that over the years and many a time, haven't we?
How many? Yeah, the record saves is against Tottenham, isn't it?
Like the top 3 record saves is against
all
Tottenham.
Against Tottenham.
Tim Krul, wasn't it for Norwich,
Newcastle.
David De Gea for Man United, and there was another one in there as well. I can't remember who it was.
I remember Bars Myhill had a mad game against us once. Like Ben Foster always he's have a crazy game against us. Just every time we come against these keepers, they play out of this world. And apparently the keepers who underperform the most against Man United,
obviously
top, and then Chelsea.
Obviously.
So there you have it. That is how Twitter reacted to Tottenham's 3-2 defeat at Old Trafford.